it doesn't go like this, but the idea is that you have to, that a foolish person has to continue in their folly to become wise. And so it's almost, it's this dismantling of their assumptions that has to happen. They have to peel those layers back before you can add on layers. So, and now I'm talking about dismantling these ideas of supremacy, of assumptions that they hold, of all this stuff before you can add on. So I think Tina was talking about unlearning, that we have to actually unlearn before we can learn this stuff. And that's one of my biggest fears is in the educational space, is that so many teachers know, they know everything, and they know the students there are the empty vessels in which they're going to fill up. And that's a pervading white supremacist karo, is that these natives need to be assimilated, forced into the culture of European Christianity, and that this, before we can even talk about learning about the history and learning about truths, that unknowing has to take, unlearning has to take place, and we have to be honest as adults that we actually don't know shit. But in terms of engagement, Tina's probably better, or Emma, but I've had, I do know don't try on Facebook.
I think I can really only speak very specifically about opposition in terms of the TMT in regards to Mauna Kea. And one of the things that is guiding our conduct right now, and has been guiding our conduct for years, is a concept called kapua aloha. So in Hawaii, in our protection of Mauna Kea, we are committed to non-violent resistance. So kapua aloha is a commitment to acting with aloha. It's not at all passive. It's very active. But it comes from a place of maintaining aloha. And when I say aloha, I hate to use the translation of love, because love just sounds too flighty for me. Aloha is deep, it's fierce, it is the kind of ache that comes into your gut when you see the desecration of your mountain. It's heavy and it's hard, but we maintain and we are committed to not acting out with violence, because we know that's not going to get us anywhere. So even with the opposition, it is hard. Even in spaces like Facebook, how do you maintain kapua aloha? How do we engage? For me personally, if I know that I might go into non-kapua aloha, I don't engage. And I also know that if that person is just like not worth my energy at the moment, then I also don't engage. But what I'm finding on the Mauna, which is really interesting to me, is that we are camped at the base of Mauna Kea, and kapua aloha rules the conduct there. And the idea is that Mauna Kea is sacred, sacred movement, sacred conduct. So we, and this comes straight, I'm quoting my cousin for a case, I didn't come up with that, baby. But what I'm noticing is that the state comes with violence. They come fully armed. They come ready to arrest with their batons and their weapons and their zip ties to tie us together. And they don't know what to do with our aloha, because they only know how to act with violence. So the fact that they come and we have kia'i, or protectors, singing to them, literally saying, e aloha, just love, 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 they don't know what to do with that. And it's so interesting to watch in that our interactions with the opposition are not violent, and that's actually what they want. They want violence so that they can justify acting out in violence against us. So the state's sort of in this weird space. And I find that the opposition as well, even in online spaces, are in this weird space. And they're using everything they can against us. And as long as we don't engage with that, I think we have the upper hand, because again, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with aloha. I mean, that's working for us. That's not to say that that should be the way for every other movement. But I know that on the Mauna right now, that's that's our rule in terms of engagement.
We have to model, first of all, tēnā koe cousin, this is my cousin on my mama's side, we're Shonans. We have Czech, Scottish, Cornish, whakapapa, and sure, yeah, correct me if I was wrong on that, but I guess, you know, we have to model what it is that we want, you know, for the future, and in our relations. So I do support that notion. By the same token, no change ever happens easily, you know. So I think we just have to accept that there is going to be opposition, that there are going to be difficult conversations, that there are going to be lots of yucky times and awkwardness while different people who are in different spaces of coming to on their journey are going to respond to our truths and to the discussions that we need to have differently, and that's not going to be comfortable, and it's going to be messy. So I think we have to an extent, not be deterred by some of the messiness that's going to happen, because a whole lot of mess has happened from us not having the conversations. So you know, I just think that where it is that we're headed, the justice that we are charting a pathway for is worth the difficult conversations that we need to engage in to get there. And I'm also mindful of, you know, particularly when positionality is everything. You know, the sister talked about her position here as a non-Māori, and then there are discussions that I know that have to be had by our non-Māori whānau, you know, tangata tiriti that are on this land as well. And I'm mindful that this evening has largely been supported by our tauiwi mō matike mai whānau, who have helped to put this together. There are models for allyship and working together to get in that direction. There are models that have already been set. And even matike mai is a model that has already, the matike mai Aotearoa report, you know, is something that I think everybody can familiarise themselves with, because it's already there. It's right there, it's written there. Where is it that we need to get to, you know, what do we need in order to have a just future for Aotearoa? It's already been done. All that's left now is for people to familiarise themselves with it and draw from that. So, but I also think in there that there's some spaces for our tangata tiriti whānau to get together and talk about what it is to be a good ally and how to position yourself in a conversation, how to conduct these conversations in a way that's as fruitful as possible while being comfortable, while understanding that there's going to be discomfort.
Kia ora everyone for your whakaaro and your questions and just your presence and being here with us on this evening. I'm just going to pass over to our kai Kōrero, just if there is any final thoughts that you might want to share. We've already been invited to hear so much, and it's been incredible and really rich in what you have all offered across the Moana actually. Are there any final thoughts? And in particular, I'm really interested, it might just be my little Facebook bubble, but I do feel like we are in a unique political moment where Indigenous peoples around the world are articulating their liberation and fighting for their resistance in really strong ways right now. So I guess I'd also like to invite, in the spirit of that, if there is anything that is taking place within Indigenous spaces that is sparking your light, giving you hope, inspiring you on that path to creating that justice at this time. So, some final thoughts.
You're getting me back for only asking you 7 minutes before. That's a big question. So I guess if, you know, final remarks is, if there's anybody here who isn't already on our Resist 250 Facebook page, we do have a page that will continue the conversation and will continue to share information through there and opportunities for how we can support the continuation of this discussion. So there's that. you know, as I'd said before, you know, the matake mai, so much of this is connected, I believe, also to our journey for constitutional justice in this country as well. And so, you know, following the journey and bringing it back to some of those core concepts in the Matake Mai Aotearoa report is really fundamental. You know, I was told by people, it's not so far, in fact it's exactly ground zero home where I live. People were saying, oh, you know, it's too far gone, the decisions have been made, you know, there's going to be a porphyry for the endeavour in Te Moana Nui-a-Kiwa, and that's just that, that's how it is. And so I just want to finish off by acknowledging that shift that happened. It's an important shift. It's an important shift because that's a ceremonial, spiritual space that was being opened up for them. And so I'm really glad that the leadership thankful for the leadership that was shown in doing a 180 on that. That gives me hope because so many people told me that was a done deal and that's never going to happen. Never listen when people tell you it's never going to happen. I've seen amazing things happen in a very short period of time. Yeah, so that's what I'll share.
I think something that drives me personally and that I take a lot of inspiration from is the fact that we come from generations of resilience. We come from generations of really strong people. I once had a professor of mine say in Hawaii, with all of the people who died at the introduction of diseases and all of that, that we who are left actually descend from the ones who survived. We descend from, and with that comes responsibility. And I think that as much as we all carry pain and trauma, and as messy and complicated and heartbreaking as these movements can be, I find so much strength in looking at my kupuna and knowing that I carry them every single day. And more than that we are all ancestors in becoming. And I refuse to give my descendants, I refuse to be the kind of ancestor that my descendants will look up to or look at as someone who did nothing. That's how Nani Trask, who's one of my idols, once said, I'd rather fight than lose than not fight at all. But what drives me right now is the rising of people. What I see on the mountain when I go there, I was just there on Thursday, is hope, is a strength that I don't think I've seen before. And I witness it in Keiki, I see it in kids. My nephew is 2 and he already knows how to stumble through kukia I mauna. You know, and that drives me because it's not, ultimately these movements aren't for us, they're for the future, they're for them. So those are the things that drive me, the kupuna that I carry, the kupuna that we are becoming, not just for us, but really for the world. So,
Plus, what really inspires me is our taiohi, our rangatahi, our mokopuna, and how you can just see in the faces of them what that they don't bullshit, or they don't let bullshit slide, and you have to really be honest and vulnerable in front of them, otherwise they just switch off.